Arguably the biggest signing of the offseason was the New York Knicks landing Jalen Brunson, and despite that, the Knicks were actually made fun of by a lot of NBA fans, and people said it was an overpay for a team that was play-in bound at best. Over 70 games into the season, the Knicks are 41-30 in the 5th seed in the East, while Jalen Brunson has been averaging nearly 24 points and 6 assists and has a true shooting percentage of 59.5%. He has excelled in his increased role and has given the Knicks exactly what they needed, a talented, high-level, shot-creating guard. He's been a large reason why the Knicks look like a competitive playoff team and could make some real noise this year. Brunson's one of the shiftier guards in the league, and despite appearing to be a bit stockier on the court, he's incredibly quick with the ball. Brunson's particularly good at using the hesitation move, as well as his ability to change speeds almost instantly to catch defenders off guard. He's able to come to a near complete stop like it's nothing, and then pick right back up at full speed. Being able to stop on a dime effortlessly makes it much easier for Brunson to finish over his defender and create space for himself. Look at how quickly he stops here to just float one over the much bigger Wendell Carter, who isn't even able to contest at time as most of his momentum is still heading towards the baseline when Brunson rises. Or look how he just loses OG by killing all of his momentum towards the basket in a second and rising up to shoot before OG can even get a good contest. Brunson's also able to use his ability to change speeds quickly to trick defenders and blow right by them. Like I mentioned earlier, he uses his speed and hesitation game to catch his defenders off guard, slowing down like he's about to let the offense play out for a minute, then take it right at the defender. Look here how he acts like he's walking out to the perimeter, but when Claxton raises a bit, all he needs is one step to get past him for an easy layup. In this play, Brunson changes speeds twice to sneak past White. First here, catching him off guard for a second, then after White recovers, he fakes like he's going to reset the three-point line, then takes a powerful step past White, and it's another easy layup. What's arguably scariest about this aspect of Brunson's game though, is how he could do these pace-changing moves from near anywhere on the court. Look at how far out he is when he changes momentum. He's nearly 40 feet from the basket in this play, but he's so quick that selling this move for even just a second opens up a lane for Brunson. The combination of this masterful hesitation game and his killer first step makes it difficult for even some of the best one-on-one defenders in the league to guard him. Look how Brunson lures Bridges into relaxing for just half a second before putting his head down and barely towards the basket. And Day'Ron Sharpe is too late in his goaltending. Or how here versus the Celtics, when he catches the ball in the air, he looks like he's about to land in the shooting position, but he immediately blows by the closeout Derek White and finds an easy floater. Selling moves like this so well means later in the game, White has to respect his drive. It is therefore too late to contest his pull-up. Another big reason why Brunson and the Knicks have been so successful this season has been his offensive awareness. Brunson is always aware of not only his teammates, but the defense. This is evident in the fact that he's in the 100th percentile for turnovers at an insanely low 8.4%. Despite how quickly Brunson is operating on the floor, he always stays conscious of the defense and is great at reacting accordingly. One of the ways Brunson stays aware of the defense, and particularly his defender, is by keeping them behind him. As soon as Brunson gets a step on his defender, he does his best to secure them on his backside to either draw an easy foul or create a much easier shot. Here, Brunson gets a few steps ahead of Craig, but chooses to slow down and make sure Craig is behind him, leading to a bad contest and an and one. Or against Philadelphia, where by securing the much bigger Tobias Harris behind him, he forces a switch and is able to get a much easier shot versus Tyrese Maxey. He's a master tracking his opponent. It's almost as though he's the one playing defense, sliding with the opposing player and matching their spots to create easy shots for himself. All of these skills work in unison to make Brunson one of the craftiest players in the NBA and help Brunson negate his smaller frame. None of this has even mentioned how prolific of a scorer Brunson has been this season. Brunson is averaging 7.5 more points a game than he was last year, and has actually increased his true shooting percentage in the process. Brunson has excelled in his increased offensive role and is a big reason why a Knicks team who had the 23rd highest offensive rating last season now has a top 5 offensive rating. His shot creating ability and shot making ability have been a huge part of the Knicks' success this year. Brunson has been a killer in the mid-range. He shoots 49% on all mid-range shots and 47% on long mid-range shots, which ranks in the 86th and 82nd percentile respectively. But since the new year, these numbers have only gone better, as Brunson is shooting 52% on all mid-range shots and 51% on long mid-range shots at this time, which ranks him in the 95th and 92nd percentile respectively. Keep in mind, this is on top of the fact that Brunson is shooting a ridiculous 47% from 3 and an even more ridiculous 62% on corner threes, bumping his scoring up to 28 points per game and increasing his true shooting percentage even more, all since January 1st. But as good as all of Brunson's game sounds on paper, it looks even better in the eye test. Jalen Brunson excels at getting to his spots. With his deep bag of moves, he's able to seemingly always find a way to get his shot off. Whether it be a quick step back, a hesitation, or a spin move, he doesn't need much space to get it off. Look here, Brunson spins, then half spins back into a long mid that Drew is just a second too late to contest, and it's in. Then here, after failing to initially sell the handoff, he crosses into an in and out, then a post-fin spade that Bogdanovic still isn't certain is the real shot, and it's clean. And I can't even begin to do this beautiful sequence for San Antonio justice. Brunson is actually a big fan of the spin move and half spin, positioning himself in the high or low post, feeling out his defender before spinning off to score. He's as crafty in the high and low post as he is anywhere else on the court, being able to slide right past his defender like he does here against PJ Tucker, or work them down like he does here against Mitchell, pounding against him until he catches Mitchell off guard for a second and immediately launches back for a jump shot. He has the speed to punish off guard defenders and the strength to chisel away at his opponents until he finds an opening. Brunson also isn't scared of contact. Instead, embrace it when he can and use it to his advantage. In an era where most players only initiate contact to draw bad fouls, Brunson uses contact to find a better shot. Look how he initiates contact with VanVleet here to create just barely enough space to get his mid-range off. Then here he takes advantage of the space created by colliding with Nembhard to drop an easy floater in. Or look how first against Schroeder he initiates contact for a step back mid-range like we saw against VanVleet. Then the next play down he does the same thing knowing Schroeder will anticipate the mid-range, initiating contact a second time to create space for an easy floater. Honestly, I could talk about Brunson's bruiser-esque playstyle for hours. It reminds me a bit of a rugby player, battling through overwhelming contact and bulldozing through defenders. Brunson is great at using his physicality to create open looks, and that's why he currently ranks top 6 in drive points per game, and top 4 in drives per game. There's also a mesmerizing quality to the way Jalen Brunson gets his mid-range jumpers off, firing them off before anybody without a sure ring gun could contest. Being a threat to score in a multitude of other ways certainly helps, but look how Leonard matches him from the second he starts his shot, but it doesn't matter. Same with Kobe White, who looks like he could have reasonably blocked that shot, but it once again doesn't matter. Inversely, here the shot has already left his hands before Goodwood even gets the chance to contest. This quick trigger with the ball, combined with his lethal shot making ability, makes him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. When you put together how deadly Brunson is handling the ball with his incredible scoring, it shouldn't be surprising how much better the Knicks have been this year. New York was in desperate need of guard play and another primary creator next to Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson has been that and more for this Knicks team. Despite his smaller frame, Brunson makes up for his lack of strength and size better than almost any other guard in the league. Bruising around until he finds a quality shot, he almost never backs down from contact. And when he isn't bruising with other players, he's using his ability to change speeds to bait defenders into lowering their guard so he can blow right past them. Like I said, Brunson was the perfect fit for what this New York team needed, and I doubt that they missed that second round pick they lost anyways, as New York looks really solid right now, and like a team that nobody out east wants to see in the playoffs. They're a tough, hard-nosed team that will chisel away at their opponents and wear them down, and Brunson is a great example of this. I never really thought the Brunson contract was much of an overpay, and I was a big fan after last year's playoffs of him taking a bet on himself. And I'm glad that New York stopped spending their time star chasing and found a player who fit exactly what they needed and elevated their play. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. As always, thank you for watching, and peace.